Walker Buehler now available. First question is from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead.
Walker, 4 innings of work from you tonight. How did you think it went for yourself?
Yeah, it went fine. I think I made one bad pitch to Arcia. You know, there's a few that wish I would have executed better, but obviously you capitalized on that one. So, you know, hats off to Julio and Blake and Kenley. So, you know, I think we threw the ball well as a unit. Obviously, you know, it never is fun giving up the only runs, but those guys picked me up and you know, the offense scored enough runs and it's win number 1 for us.
Going into the outing, Walker, did you anticipate about 4 innings, or was it more predicated on just kind of how your stuff was tonight and how you were feeling with your finger?
Yeah, you know, I was a little up on the pitch count. I wish I would have been a little more efficient and maybe, you know, been able to run it to 5. But, you know, at the end of the day, we're here to win games. And you know, I got taken out of the game. I had a couple balls hit hard off me in the 4th inning, obviously. So, you know, glad those guys were able to come in and do what they did.
What have you seen in terms of the growth of Julio Urías? Gives you guys 3 scoreless innings despite having a runner on in each inning, 2 in which were in scoring position, and he kept them off the board.
Yeah, Julio's one of those guys that's always battled. You know, I think people kind of forget how young Julio is and how talented he is, how, you know, impressive he was for so long. And, you know, I think I love being around Julio and watching him and learning from him even. And, you know, he's young and he's younger than I am, but he's been here a lot longer than me. So, you know, we're glad to have him on our side for sure.
What do you take away from this one before you go into hopefully the DS?
You know, I think we got a game to win tomorrow. Before we kind of look ahead at all, I think for me personally, it's just trying to get to where I want to be. Obviously, I made a bad pitch and got some things to work on, but I felt pretty good about where my stuff was. So just try and get ready and, you know, hope for the best tomorrow for us.
Finally, for me, Walker, was it just lack of execution in that inning where you got into some trouble, or did your finger bother you at all?
No, you know, I think, you know, I've always been a guy. I think you can look in the playoffs. I walk probably more guys in the playoffs, I would think, than I do in the regular season. I think there's an element of not giving in the playoffs. And then I made one bad pitch. So, you know, I had a 0-2. I can't miss that much. Obviously, that pitch is supposed to be, you know, up above his belt, and I threw it about as middle as I could. So, you know, I think for me, it's just trying to keep getting better, keep progressing like I always do, and you know, be a part of this team and push us to 12 more wins.
Next question is from Michael Duarte. Go ahead.
Walker, on the broadcast, your finger didn't look great. So I'm just wondering, was there any particular pitch, curveball, or anything that it bothered you at all or any way? Did it have any effect on the outing at all?
No, I mean, I think we've talked about the cutter probably being the one that's the toughest on it. So, you know, I mostly threw, you know, the 4-seam, the slider and the curveball tonight. So, it is what it is. You know, we're managing it and moving on.
Thanks, Walker. Corey Seager now available. First question's from Alanna Rizzo. Go ahead.
Corey, Corey, the 95-mile-an-hour fastball off of Peralta, he'd been throwing you the heater in that at-bat. Are you just kind of waiting to see, sitting on anything there in particular?
No, just trying to battle, put a good swing on the ball. Fortunate enough, you kind of hit it out of the ballpark and give us an extra run going into the later parts of the inning. So that was a big help.
How nice is it to be able to have a pitching staff, top to bottom, that you guys talk about, the tandem between Clayton and Walker, but also for the bullpen to come out tonight and do what it did to keep this game close?
Yeah, our pitching staff tonight was really good. Walker threw great. He makes one bad pitch, and that game's completely different if he doesn't. Julio came in right after him, and same thing. Attacked people, got in the zone, got outs, soft contact, and then training and Kenley coming in and shutting the door. It's a huge effort from our pitching staff, and that's what you need going forward.
Corey, we often talk about the 1-2 punch with Walker and Clayton, or Clayton and Walker. It's interchangeable. But what about the 1-2 punch between Mookie and yourself? With Mookie at the top of the lineup, you in the 2-hole, you're going to see good pitches to hit, and knowing that really you have a lineup up and down that is going to protect each one of you.
Yeah, like you said, the lineup's deep. It's not just us. There's guys all the way through that lineup that can do damage. They take good at-bats. They take their walks. We take our hits. The first inning was a huge inning for us. Like as you saw, we took our walks. You scratch some runs, and in the second inning you hit back-to-back doubles, and that's how you win a lot of games.
I'm not certain that people thought it was going to be as close as it was with the Brewers, with their injuries and trying to scratch and claw to get into the postseason. How huge was Game 1 in this 3-game series when really anybody can win it?
Yeah, they're a tough team. Really good bullpen. They got good players, good position players that take good at bats. This isn't anything to be light. The playoffs in general are nothing to take lightly. It doesn't matter who it is. You got to go out there and you got to play good baseball.
Thank you, Corey.
Next question is from Harvey Castillo. Go ahead.
Or this game feel any differently than the regular season? Just, given the atmosphere is very unusual.
A little. Obviously, it's a postseason game. It matters more. So there's definitely a little more adrenaline. This was the first time in a while that it was definitely weird not having fans. So a little tougher on that in the beginning to kind of relock it in, refocus, and kind of go about your business. So it was definitely a little different, but it's what we're doing and what you have to do.
And against Seager, are you guys expecting him to try to nibble around the corner with you guys and just waiting him out?
Not really. Going into the game, I don't even think he had walked a lefty all year. So we were going in with the game plan of getting a pitch early, put good swings on balls, and you adjust it, take your walks, get your runs any way you can.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Corey, you mentioned their bullpen. How do you game plan and prepare for a group as good as that when you haven't seen most of them?
Yeah, it's been weird. We haven't played this team at all. So you do your best you can to kind of watch film, pick up on tendencies, but it's a lot of like talking to players who face those guys, talking to the guys throughout the game, seeing how the ball's playing, stuff like that. So it was definitely a challenge for sure.
In that first inning with Seager, was he missing by a lot?
Not really. I think we were taking pitches we needed to, getting in good counts, and then, really trying to get a good pitch to swing and not expanding the strike zone because we were ahead, so that definitely played in our favor.
Thanks, Corey.
Yep.
Next question is from Roman Kalvner. Go ahead.
Hey, Corey, you talked about not seeing this team this year. Does that help to get to the bullpen early, to be able to see those relief arms for an inning or two and to see all those guys early in the series?
Yeah, definitely. The more you can see a guy, the better you're gonna be. Kind of seeing every pitch, seeing sequences, all that stuff. It definitely helps.
We got time for one more. Go ahead, Pedro.
Hey, Corey, a few of the very talented hitters in your guys' deep lineup that you referenced still haven't quite found it consistently this season. Until they do, how much do you think you and Mookie can hoist up the rest of the group in this postseason with you guys both, in form?
You know, the postseason's different. You don't have to have it every night. You know, a walk's just as good as a hit sometimes. Like you showed in the first inning, you know, we had 3-4 walks. I don't remember what it was, and you score 2 runs. So you don't always need to be locked in and have to have the big hit to score runs. You know, it's moving the lineup and getting to people and just trying to score any way you can.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Corey.
¿Me escucha?
Sí,
Buen trabajo.
gracias, gracias.
Julio Urías now available. First question from Alanna, go ahead.
Julio, 3 really strong innings from you tonight. You had a runner on base in each of the innings, but you did not allow anybody to score. How were you able to be so efficient and so stingy in terms of runs?
Una salida en donde fueron tres entradas buenas, tuviste corredores en las bases, pero ¿cómo pudiste evitar que anotaran?
Bueno, igual no enfocado. El hit, el doble primero fue pues un contacto, se podría decir, flojo, y la pelota llegó hasta el outfield. Entonces yo pienso que son cosas del juego, circunstancias del juego. Obviamente traté de enfocarme en el siguiente bateador y así fue. ¿No? Igual con el hit de Yelich, el doble de Yelich en el tercer inning, igual no fue un picheo que yo lo fallé, de verdad yo lo fallé, pero pues supe regresar y gracias a Dios que salieron el resultado.
Just staying focused. First double was soft contact, and it ended up in the outfield. But you have to understand that that's part of the game. Those are the circumstances, and I was able to get out of it. And then with Yelich, that double was a pitch that I missed, and luckily I was able to get out of it and have a successful outing.
You're basically serving as, you know, starter number 2 in this game. Walker goes 4, you go 3. How much confidence does it give you knowing you were able to come out in a very important game to perform, to take game 1?
Trabajas como quizás el segundo abridor, sale Walker y entras tú para 3 entradas. ¿Qué hace para ti esa confianza o te da confianza poder tener una salida como estas en un juego importante?
No, totalmente, no, obviamente la confianza, como lo he dicho, no, agradecerle siempre al equipo por tenerme en cuenta. Obviamente de mí siempre van a esperar el 100% y es lo que siempre saldrá a dar de mí, ¿no? En la loma. Entonces, y el resultado pues sale sobrando en esta noche, pues gracias a Dios que pudimos lograr la victoria como equipo y me siento bien orgulloso y bien contento por mis compañeros, ¿no? Como lo dije, venimos por todo y a esperar el día de mañana y a ganar el día de mañana, ¿no?
Yeah, as far as the confidence, I'm really thankful that the team looks at me and has the confidence in me, and they know that I'll always be willing to give 100%, and that's going to happen regardless of the outcome. Luckily tonight we got the win. I'm really proud that my teammates were able to get a win, and hopefully tomorrow we can come out and get another one.
52 pitches for you, 37 of which were for strikes. Did they have you on any sort of pitch count in case you're necessary, perhaps for a game 3, if you guys have to play that?
52 lanzamientos para ti, el 37 que fueron strike. ¿Te contaron los lanzamientos? ¿Estaban pensando en una cantidad de lanzamientos para tratar de utilizarte después?
No, la verdad no, ni idea, no cuál era el plan de ellos, simplemente era pues salir y atacar y pelear, ¿no? Obviamente tratar de llegar lo más lejos posible. Pienso que pues obviamente por el conteo de lanzamientos o el inning que era, obviamente fue decisión de ellos sacarme el juego. Igual, siempre a respetar las decisiones y a estar listo, uno nunca sabe, uno quiere ganar mañana y pues esa es la mentalidad y no esperar el tercer juego, ¿no?
I actually have no idea what the plan was. I knew I had to go out there, I had to attack, I had to fight and try to go as deep as possible. I'm not sure if it was the inning or the pitch count, but they took me out in that situation, and I'll be ready whenever they call me. If we're just going to try to go out and win tomorrow or the next day, and I'll be ready for anything they need.
Next question is from Mark Castillo. Go ahead.
Julio, did they tell you in advance that you'd be pitching tonight or to be ready to pitch tonight in case Walker didn't go deep into the game?
Te habían dicho que ibas a lanzar hoy, que estuvieras listo para hoy, para salir después de Walker.
Sí, ya me han comentado que estuviera listo por cualquier cosa. no era obviamente seguro y pues uno nunca sabe, tocó la casualidad, me llegó la oportunidad y como lo digo, dar el 100% de mí, que es lo que daré siempre por este equipo, ¿no?
Yeah, they had let me know that I had to be ready for whatever situation. I wasn't really sure if they would even need me, but I'm thankful for the opportunity and thankful that I was able to do my job.
Gracias, Julio.
Siguiente pregunta de Manuel Campa García. Adelante.
Hola Julio, buenas noches. Oye, preguntarte cómo fue el hecho de salir a lanzar en un juego de playoff sin gente. Para ti, ya tienes experiencia obviamente en playoff, ¿sentiste esa misma emoción, esa misma responsabilidad de un juego pues donde te juegas prácticamente la temporada en 2 días? Platícame, ¿cómo fue para ti salir a lanzar en un juego tan importante donde a lo mejor la gente es la que a veces termina reflejando que es un juego importante, ¿no?
No, obviamente, y siempre lo he dicho, ¿no? Y lo voy a seguir diciendo, cuando se juega aquí en Los Ángeles, obviamente es otro ambiente para nosotros, la afición está ahí dando el 100% todas las noches, entonces obviamente esa motivación que te da la gente es la motivación con la que sale uno, ¿no? Al estadio y a dar el 100% de uno para la gente, obviamente, y que se lleven un buen sabor de boca a su casa. En esta ocasión obviamente es difícil porque pues no hay aficionados, ¿no? Pero igual, mantenerse enfocados, todo el mundo nos está viendo por televisión y nos está apoyando por televisión y mandándonos sus oraciones y sus buenos deseos, ¿no? Entonces, obviamente, hay que tratar de dar el 100% para no defraudar a la gente de Los Ángeles, ¿no?
Oye, Julio, hiciste historia 2 veces. Al saltar a la loma te convertiste en el octavo mexicano en jugar en esta postemporada. Nunca había pasado. Obviamente hay más equipos, ¿no? Y además, ganando el juego también temprano, ganó Gallegos. Nunca habían ganado 2 mexicanos en el mismo día. Platícame para ti. Insisto, son circunstancias, postemporada extendida, pero al final de cuentas para ti como mexicano, ¿qué representa que tu nombre cada vez más se escriba más en la historia?
No, obviamente uno no juega para eso, uno juega para su equipo y tratar de salir con la victoria. Ya cuando se sale con la victoria, obviamente ya se ponen a ver las cosas que pasaron o que pasaron durante el día, ¿no? Igual me siento muy contento por ser mexicano, muy orgulloso por ser mexicano y que haya más paisanos aquí también, obviamente eso me llena de orgullo, ¿no? Y sabemos que estamos haciendo las cosas bien para las nuevas generaciones que vienen en México, muchos jóvenes que nos están viendo, entonces obviamente pues son cosas buenas para ellos, ¿no? Son cosas buenas para México y como siempre lo he dicho, ¿no? Cualquier cosa que haga un mexicano hay que sentirse orgulloso por eso.
Gracias, Julio. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Siguiente pregunta de Claudia. Adelante.
Julio, felicidades. Tu recta fue muy efectiva esta noche. ¿Qué tan cómodo te sentiste en el montículo con los lanzamientos?
No, bien, la verdad, bien. Salí enfocado, salí con hambre de lanzar y con hambre de ganar el juego, obviamente, como equipo y hacer las cosas bien. Y gracias a Dios que el resultado salió a mí y a mis compañeros en general, ¿no? La verdad que me siento bien contento y esperar el día de mañana.
¿Qué te pareció esta alineación de los Brewers?
No, buena, por algo están aquí. Ya hemos tenido varios enfrentamientos como van pasando los años, entonces obviamente ya los conocemos, ya nos conocen, entonces es un juego de fuerzas que pues hay que tratar de hacerlo mejor para salir victoriosos, ¿no?
Gracias.
Gracias, Julio.
Gracias.
Dave Roberts now available. First questions from Alanna. Go ahead, Alanna.
Dave, from first pitch to final out, what impresses you the most about this particular win?
I just thought it was a pretty clean game. We weathered the 2-run homer, just tacked on a run late with Corey. I thought the pitching was really good tonight, and it's a playoff win.
Walker said that 2-run homer was lack of execution. How much do you think it was his stuff tonight versus perhaps, just always having that blister on his mind?
No, I thought the stuff was really good tonight. He had Arcia 0-2 and tried to go up and away and just left it middle, at the knee. And he took a good swing. But outside of that, I thought he really executed well tonight.
You had said that the training staff was going to be very important in terms of what was going on with him. Did you have 4 innings in mind for him, or was it more of just the pitch count that he was getting to at that point?
I thought the 4th inning, was 22, 23 pitches. And at that point in time, there has been times where the blister kind of shows itself a little bit. He started to get up there, and it wasn't necessarily a pitch count. I just felt that right there, we could end feeling good about things where they're at and get him ready for his next start. And just having Julio behind him, I felt really confident.
How impressive was Julio tonight with the 3 innings of scoreless ball?
He was great. And I just give him so much credit for just being open to whatever we ask. And, as we, hopefully get to the next series, and he'll make a start, which will be great for him.
Finally, for me, Dave, we always talk about the tandem of Clayton and Buehler and Clayton. How about the tandem of Mookie Betts at the top of your lineup and Corey Seager in that 2-hole?
It's great. And that Mookie started us off and had some good at bats and a couple doubles. And then the energy was great. And then Corey to tack on one late. You'd be hard pressed to find a better 1-2 in baseball.
Thank you.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
How much of that was pre-scripted, Dave? 4 from Buehler, 3 from Urías.
No, it wasn't. We just don't know what we were going to get from Walker, to be quite honest. We had a rested pen. I knew Julio. I had a good idea Julio was going to pitch. I wanted to pitch tonight. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. It just kind of worked more seamless, which was great.
And how closely are you going to have to do this with Walker going forward?
Hopefully we got him out when we needed to. And as he gets an extra day, as we look out going to the next series, then, if we're fortunate enough to get there, then, hopefully we're in a better spot than we're today and continually getting better.
As the middle innings played out, were you starting to worry a little bit that you maybe hadn't cashed in enough in the first 2 innings?
I wouldn't say worried, but I just felt that we really had Suter on the ropes and couldn't really break it open early, which we were close. And they started matching up and hadn't seen Yardley, and he did a nice job against us. So, gave him 2 and 1/3. But it's a good club over there. They're going to keep fighting, and it was just, again, good for us to tack on one more run.
Thanks, Dave.
You got it.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Dave, how did Kenley look to you?
It was good to see him get the job done. It just didn't seem like the stuff had the teeth that I've seen in recent outings. So, I'm going to go back and look at the video.
What exactly do you think didn't have teeth? What do you mean by that?
I just didn't think that, the cutter really, I think there were a couple throws that had some life, but it just didn't have the life in the zone. And the breaking ball was cast more than I've seen it. So we'll see. Again, I don't know as much until I really look at it.
And just finally, how did this game feel compared to playoff games of the past here at Dodger Stadium?
It was different. It was different, but the main thing is the focus on the field was there.
Thank you.
Next question is from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, I know you like the versatility of Julio in that bullpen role. Does 3 innings tonight basically knock him out for the rest of this series, or is there still the potential that he could bounce back for a potential Game 3 if you need it?
There's always that chance, but I think for me, Alden, it's very unlikely. But, you know, obviously he'll be down tomorrow, and we'll kind of, if it comes to that, we'll just talk to Julio and we'll see where he's at.
Okay, thanks.
Next question is from Ken Gurney. Go ahead.
Dave, is AJ Pollock okay?
Yeah, AJ, you know, walk, double. For me right there, I just want to get Kike in there and just add a little foot speed in the outfield. But AJ did a great job.
Thanks.
Next question is from Ron Kavner. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, you kind of talked about it before the series, but was it good to get a look at the Brewers bullpen, a bunch of arms and guys that you haven't seen, you know, in person this year? Is it good to get that early?
Yeah, it was. You know, I mentioned Yardley earlier, and so to see him, all of our guys to see him, and then Topa is a guy we hadn't seen, so to get some eyes on him certainly helped. We've seen Peralta over the last couple of years. But yeah, and, you know, the more you can see guys, especially with recency, is a good thing, I think, for the hitter.
Go ahead, Pedro.
On the topic of the Betts Seager 1-2 punch, Dave, how much can both of them at the top of their game compensate if a few of the very talented hitters in your lineup continue later on in the lineup continue to not find it?
Well, they're taking the most at bats every night, and that's the great thing about our lineup is, you know, obviously those two guys have had great seasons, but we still got production from other guys throughout the lineup at times, and I just applaud those two guys because they've been so consistent all year long. Corey taking the walk early, I thought that was big, and just swinging at strikes and got one that he could homer on. But just all along, it just makes everybody around him better with their consistency.
Thank you.
We got time for one more. Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, Doug, you mentioned the focus you saw on the team. Did you get a sense tonight that this is when the real season starts? Did you feel like there was urgency and they turned it up a notch in this crazy 3-game first round that MLB's doing?
You know, Michael, I think we've been really focused the last 2-3 weeks, understanding that this is a short series and you've got to be ready every pitch. But I expected our guys to come out and play with intent and focus, and they did exactly that.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.